you're starting Wizard101, make sure you do these 5 tips or you're making the game way harder than it actually needs to be. I feel like most people at least mess up one of these things or they're not doing it and they're setting themselves back a little bit. These will save you time, gold, and make your early game way easier. Without further ado, let's jump into the first tip. Tip number 1 for you, stop wasting gold early game, but also make sure you're spending on the right things. Now, this can be broken down into 3 main categories here for this first tip. Number 1 thing you don't want to do early game is buy random gear with gold. That is absolutely not necessary because your gear is going to get replaced very quickly and you're just going to out level it very early on. So don't spend gold on that. There's 2 things you really want to focus your gold on. Number 1, most important in my opinion, is a red barn farm. This is what I have here and you're going to want to get this as early as you possibly can. It's 125,000 gold. I'll show you that now. You can hop in here, you go to housing, then you can scroll down and you'll see red barn farm. It is 125,000. You don't even want to focus on the other houses. You just want this because it gives all your plants a gardening buff. So if you don't know about that, is a number 1 thing you want to spend your gold on for sure. Yeah, there you go. Like this house, that's for all the plants. And then you want to get your couch potato farm early on. Yeah, I can make a video on that as well. All right, so the second part of this tip I'd say is if you're life or death wizard, I believe they're the only 2 schools that don't have an early game AoE. You can come in here, this jewel center, and you can spend 10k gold on a arch mastery rating, and that will give you enough to potentially use some AoEs early on, and that could help you clear out mobs faster. It's not really necessary, but it's 10k gold. So that's another thing I would spend your gold on because you normally get that at level 50. The third thing I'd spend gold on early game is if you come over to housing and then you can go to the Arcanum, visit cast operated Arcanum apartment. Once you come here, you come out here and then you can go straight to librarian and you can buy early game treasure cards because you don't unlock it yet. And that helps a ton. If you have extra gold after you get the red barn farm, you're gonna want to come here and get a couple of these. They're only 250 for one, so 10k gold you get about 50. And you can also, I think, get a couple of AoEs. Let me double check. If you want, you can waste on the actually no, don't even buy these. These are not necessary. The enchants are far better. But the other thing I'd recommend, honestly, are saving up just overall for pets later on, because you're going to want to make a pet. But I think as your first wizard, you can kind of just wait until you have a mega stack farm set up and more than enough gold to do all the hatching, because that can be a grind in itself. I personally wouldn't even focus on that early on. Just worry about maxing your character and maybe like partway through the playthrough, level 100, level 70, something like that, you can go start doing pets. But I would not focus on that early game. But you can save your gold for that as well, because you'll definitely have an excess of gold. All right, my second tip kind of goes into the same thing as the first one, but it's a combo of one. But once you have all the gold you need, you're going to want to come here and use monstrous TCs. Now, this makes early game so easy. This game's not hard in itself, in my opinion, but then paired with these, it just huge help. So there's a lot of TCs you can use. Honestly, the only real necessary one in my opinion is monstrous. Once you are done with that, you don't really need to use TCs at all. There are some use cases for sure, like a reshuffle, but honestly, you could train that. People have varying opinions on that. My opinion is to train it. But monstrous is the only early game one you want. And then you could also do some tower shields too. That's always big. It's really up to you. But yeah, I would just focus on monstrous, and that's gonna help you early game so much. All right, the third tip that I have for you guys here is a pretty well-known one, I'd say, but I know Wizard101 gets a lot of new players all the time, so I want to reiterate this anyways. You want to save your training points early on because there are a lot of extra spells you can get that are very beneficial. You don't want to waste your training points. Training points in general become very abundant later on in the game, but early on, the first thing you want to focus on for sure is feint. You want to train into feint, and then in Crocotopia, there's also a spirit blade you can train into on the Crocosphinx, I believe it's called. But yeah, the first most important spell you want is to come here and get feint. At level 22, you can get that, and then you just stop in death. You don't need to go any further in death at all. That is very important. Now that we're in Crocotopia and Crocosphinx, you take the boat here. You can also spend a training point to get the blade. This is a very big thing. I don't have it, I already got it, but it's 1 pip to train for this. So I don't remember what comes first, either feint or this, but I believe it's feint, and then you'll get that because that's level 25. So yeah, you're gonna want to definitely save your points for that, and then always do the early game side quest to get the extra training point. But that's a very underrated tip, I think, is because it's one of the biggest ones I can offer for this video is to train for feint. It is the hands down one of the best cards. Plus 70 to your enemy and plus 30 to yourself. You're gonna take out any boss. I swear it's very good. All right, tip number 4 I have for you guys here. Your deck is probably way too big. I would say when you're creating a deck, depending on what you're going for, you don't need that many cards in your deck. I like to keep a couple. So early game deck, you can kind of keep more if you don't have an AoE yet, variety and stuff like that for whatever card you want to use. But really, when it comes down to for mobs is you just need your AoE, potentially a prism. I don't even need this right now, but sometimes you need it. Your blade, your spirit blade. Feint is a big one. I like to keep pierces just in case they shield up before I can attack. And then, whatever AoE cards you want. And then in the treasure card section a bunch of monsters. Potentially reshuffle. I like to just load up monsters and then train into the reshuffle. So you really just need like 8 cards, and this right here allows you to always get the card that you need to kill the mobs as quick as possible. Now, obviously not everything's about min-maxing, but this is a tip video, so I'm trying to help you guys out here. But yeah, you just want to, have a small deck there. And then for the boss, obviously you can, make it a little bit bigger. This might be a little overkill, but, have a good strong one-hitter, whatever you want to do for the bosses. But for mobs in general and just questing, this is all you need. Even for bosses, sometimes this is all you need. And then don't forget, you can press on the cards down here to take them out to even have less. I like to keep a couple wand hits in here as well, just in case you get a weakness or something. It's annoying and you get to remove it very easily. But yeah, overall, a smaller deck equals a faster fight, and it's just more enjoyable in my opinion. So yeah. All right, tip number 5 for you. This one might be a little unpopular, but you don't need to do every single side quest. Now, this is a personal preference in my opinion, but if your main goal is just to level up your character and kind of like get through the game and stuff and enjoy the story, you don't really need to do it. By the time you get to endgame, you're gonna be more than enough leveled for all the content. And honestly, the only side quests I think you should do are Prospector Zeke ones till you get the extra training point. And then the other one you're gonna want to do are the side worlds, Grizzleheim, where you can get to Winter Tusk, because this allows you to level up your character a bit more for Celestia, and then you can also get extra spells that you would not otherwise be able to get if you skip this world. So I think that one's mandatory for sure. It is a side world, but basically after Dragon's Fire, you're going to want to go and do the Grizzleheim quest, because then it's the quickest way to get it done as well. And then you go through that. It takes maybe about 4 or 5 hours, and then you go through Winter Tusk, and then that will push you probably about like level 50, level 52, and then you can jump into Celestia. And that's what I would recommend. But yeah, that is my 5th and final tip, that you don't need to do side quests. Unless you want to, of course. If you do these 5 things early game though, it will be way, way easier. And I think you'll have a more straightforward time. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, or if any of these tips you found helpful or anything like that, please make sure to subscribe and like and comment, follow for more. And thanks for watching.